Hmm. I love accents. I think it's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I I am lucky that it happens more naturally for me. For example, I've never been to Australia, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know many Australian people. In my life, I've met maybe three Australian people.
Oh, very rare.
Yeah, very rare. But if I
Uh-huh.
watch Australian YouTube videos, I can
Uh-huh.
copy their accent very easily.
Uh-huh. Yes.
So for me it's just easier. For most people, you live in a place for a long time, you get used to the sound, you start talking like that. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I watch like 15 minutes of a YouTube video and I can
Mm-hmm.
copy the accent. um,
Uh-huh.
but I cannot keep doing it for a long time because it's there temporarily and then it goes away again.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a little bit easier for me to learn accents than it is for most people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm jealous of you. I will try. I will try.
I also do have the advantage that even though it's a different accent, it's still my native language.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's also something that you don't have. This is a completely foreign language for you that you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
learn the language and the accent.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
just that part alone makes it a little bit easier for me because
Oh, yeah.
it's already my native accent. I'm
I
sure
think
it's
so.
I'm sure it's easy for you to switch between the Seoul accent and accents from
Mm-hmm.
other parts of South
Yeah.
Korea. So
Um, Seoul. 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 Did you heard about it? Hello, 안녕하세요, 안녕하세요, like this, but Busan accent. Uh, 안녕하세요, like this.
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, so funny.
but you can hear the difference and you can copy the difference. And I think if you
Mm-hmm.
spend some time really thinking about it, you would be able to speak in the other accent
Mm-hmm.
not so
Yeah.
difficultly, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
no, I when I was living in China, I found it so interesting how different parts of the country they're speaking the same language, but it sounds completely different.
Yeah,
Um,
completely.
Especially within mainland China, if you consider the difference between northern China and southern
Mm-hmm.
China,
Uh-huh.
it's it was hard for me because when I first moved to China, I
Mm-hmm.
was living in northern China and I took Chinese lessons and I was speaking not fluently at all, but I was speaking
Uh-huh.
enough Chinese within my first year to be completely independent. Um,
Yes.
but then I moved to southern China and no one could understand anything I said.
I think Chinese can speak English very well, but then Korean.
I disagree with that.
Uh,
No, English is difficult for all the
yeah, I
Asian
have
languages.
confidence. Yeah, I have confidence now.
Yeah. No, like all the Asian languages, Chinese, Japanese, Thai,
Mm-hmm.
Korean, Vietnamese, all the Asian languages are completely different from English. There are
Mm-hmm.
no
Yeah, yeah.
similarities. So it
Mm-hmm.
is really difficult for all of you
Yeah,
to learn.
exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
all Asia language language are totally different.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So very hard, very difficult. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like for Europe, learning the different European languages can be easier because even though they're completely different, if you go back in time, they all have the same original language. Like we
Yeah,
all come from Latin.
yeah.
English started as Latin, French started as Latin, Spanish started as Latin. Um, German did not start as Latin, but German started as Germanic, which is the second language that mixed with
Mm-hmm.
Latin to
Yeah.
create English and French
Mm-hmm.
and all. So
Yeah.
for Europeans to learn each other's languages and to learn English is much easier because there are similarities. There are words that sound similar or are spelled similar. Um,
Yes.
but
I
Asians
heard
don't have
about it.
those.
Yeah. All Western countries' language connected with alphabet, and I think their culture is connected and their language is connected.
Yeah, it all goes back to Rome,
Mhm.
like ancient Rome 2000 years ago. It all goes back to that. Like English as a language is about 2000 years old. French as a language is about 2000 years old. Like before Rome, there were tribal languages being spoken in all these different countries, but those tribal languages all mixed with Latin to create this modern language. And so we have the same root, which is Latin, and it runs through all of it.
Yeah, I would born in Western country.
It's interesting for me because I am technically not from a Western country because I'm from Africa, but South Africa is a Western country, even though we are in Africa. So it's an interesting combination of Western and African culture, because we would consider ourselves both Western and African.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that in modern times, that's going to become more common because as Western culture and Western languages spread around the world, I think more and more, especially Eastern and Asian countries, are adapting more Western ideas. And so pretty soon there's not really going to be a divide anymore between Eastern and Western and African and all these things.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
yeah, I think there are benefits to coming from Asia that don't exist for Western people, and there are benefits to coming from Western countries that don't exist for Asians. So in English, we have an expression: the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
But when you get there, you realize, oh, it's not what I thought it was going to be, because nothing is as good as it looks.
Yes, actually now my English is not fluently, but I'm excited. I'm interested in English every day because learning English is learning English is so refreshing my life. Refreshing my life.
Yeah, I think anytime you learn a new language, it opens your mind to new ideas, new ways of thinking. You know, culture is so closely linked to language that learning a new language is like learning a new culture. It's one of the best things anyone can do for themselves is to learn a new language.
Yeah. I the most big benefit is learning English. Is learning English is most big benefit is for me. I have big eyes to see the world is wide. Yes, so I can communicate to other countries people. That's so funny and interesting.
Yeah, and that's a very important thing because
Yes.
before we learn how to communicate with people from those countries, we have our own ideas about who they are, what they are like. But when we are actually able to talk to them, we can learn that, oh, my ideas were not right. These people are very interesting, very friendly, very warm. Um, I have had this experience recently because since teaching on Cambly, I have had a lot of students from Saudi Arabia. And growing up in Western culture, we have a lot of negative ideas about Islam and about Islamic countries, especially countries like Saudi Arabia. But having the ability to actually communicate with people from that country has completely opened my eyes that Saudi people are some of the friendliest people I've ever come in contact with. They're so
Mhm.
warm, they're so kind, they're so generous. Their
Mhm.
family values are really strong and really beautiful. And
Mhm.
yes, they have had difficulty in their history where women didn't have rights, but even though this is the thing that really gets me, even though they were a country where for generations women were not allowed to drive,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
In the last 3 years,
I heard, yeah, I've heard about it on YouTube. Yeah.
mhm, yeah, they were only allowed to start driving 3 years ago. So women in
Mhm.
Saudi Arabia have only been driving for 3 years.
Oh.
However, I have not met a single woman my
Mhm.
age who
Yes.
doesn't have a master's or a PhD.
Mhm.
They were not allowed to drive, but they're highly educated.
Uh-huh.
Whereas in Western countries, women are still fighting for the right to control what's happening to their own bodies. Like the contrast is huge. We think Muslim women are oppressed because they have to
Mhm.
cover their faces, but
Yeah.
they have PhDs. Whereas
Mhm.
for us, we have to fight to be allowed to vote. We have to fight to be allowed to get a promotion. We're not
Yeah.
free.
Is that situation called gender problem? Social
Yeah,
gender problem?
it's called gender discrimination.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh. Mhm.
yeah, or another way to say it is sexism.
Yes, I heard about it, and this I've seen on the news that women is protecting for government.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, in my country, in South Africa, we don't have a lot of these problems because our constitution is very equal. Like we have problems with white people and black people, but we don't have problems with
Mm-hmm.
men and women. Our gender issues are very equal.
Yeah.
We were I believe we were the second or the third country in the world to
Mm-hmm.
allow gay marriage. We've had gay marriage since 1996. Like
Mm-hmm.
some Western countries, like the United States, are still arguing about whether or not gay marriage is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So gender issues in my country are not really a problem.
Racism
Um,
is your country's issue. Yeah.
yes, but right now, racism in
Mm-hmm.
my country also is not as bad as in the United States.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah. I I
it's
I've seen that video
mhm.
in front of White House.
Yeah. No, so we have a history of having problems with racism. But in the United States right now, racism is
Mm-hmm.
a much bigger problem than it is in
Yeah,
South Africa.
very seriously.
Yeah. And so for the first time, it's actually a very strange situation because we have always looked up to America as an example for
Mm-hmm.
how to address our
Mm-hmm.
racial discrimination, racial inequality. But right now, it's like, okay, America needs to turn this around and come learn from us because we have peace. We do not have black people being shot by the police just for being black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We do not have white nationalists hanging black people from trees. These things are not happening in my country.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, the world is in a very strange place right now.
I think our topic and the conversation is very developing because that time I couldn't speak well, but today I'm not I'm not nervous, but so I can speak with you comfortably.
And I hope that you speak to me again. I enjoyed talking to you. Our time is
Mhm.
over now,
Oh yeah,
unfortunately.
bye bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.